We're going to be looking at adding and subtracting matrices. With this, there are some conditions that must be met before you can add and subtract matrices. The first condition, your matrices must be the same dimensions. If they are not the same dimensions, it won't work, and you can't add or subtract them. Okay, so that's the first condition. If, for instance, they do not work out, that they are not the same dimensions, you can write no solution. That's perfectly okay. With this, it's just easier if we just get right into it. It's pretty self-explanatory. Let's say that I've got -6, 4, 3, 2, 0, and -5. And I want to add, let's go with 10, 7, -3, -4, 0, and 1. So what you're doing here is, the first thing you want to do is actually look to make sure that you have the same dimensions. You can see without me writing down that this first one's a 3 by 2, that they are in fact the same dimensions. Your final product, or I shouldn't say product, your final sum is going to be the same dimensions. You started with the same dimensions, you're going to end with the same dimensions. So what you do is you just take your element that's in the top left corner and add the element in the top left corner of the second one. Like I said, pretty self-explanatory. So -6 plus 10 would give me 4. And you just keep going with your different elements until you are finished with your matrix. So as you guys can see here, this right here would be my final answer. With that, sometimes a lot of people get tripped up on the subtracting of matrices when there's a scalar involved. So let's go with a shorter matrix. So when you have a scalar that's involved, you'll have to do your multiplication of your scalar first. Now, you can either multiply by -3 and then add, or you can multiply by a +3 and then subtract. I personally leave the negative there and I multiply by just the 3. So it's like I am covering up that negative for right now. Okay, so I'm covering up that negative and I'm going to take care of that scalar multiplication first. So the first matrix still stays the same. And now I've got 9, 6, 3, and 0. So now I've taken care of that 3, so I can cover up that now, and I can actually subtract. So this is just how I personally do it. You could do it differently. If you want to multiply by the -3, that's fine. Just make sure you switch it to a positive. So go ahead and do my subtraction. And our results are going to look like this. The key here, I didn't have it up there, but if you have like a negative here, that's where people get tripped up. Then you could at least see that you've got a double negative. Just something to think about when you're dealing with scalars. Other than that, it's pretty self-explanatory on the addition and subtraction. Just make sure that your matrices have the same dimensions.